Really well-designed unit is LR Tech Broly. You can transform him at any time, which is just an amazing mechanic, and his base form can go slot 1 for 1 turn only for 90% damage reduction, or you can put him in slot 2 for less damage reduction down to 70%, but you give your allies 50% crit for that turn, again, for 1 turn only. The great thing is if you're in a fight that is not hitting too hard early on, you can hide this Broly to help preserve that extra damage reduction you get for the first 3 turns when you go into Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. When you go into his transformed state, he gets 26% damage reduction for 3 turns on top of his base 50% damage reduction, so you can get 76% damage reduction right when you go into Broly, which is very good. But again, if you're trying to save that for the final boss, you need to ensure to hide that base Broly. But the great thing about this Broly is you can just customize your play. You could transform him right away just to get him out faster, stack attack, get his active skill, or you can hide him and I'll save that Broly for later. He may not hit as hard, but at least he could tank the boss. Either way, he has an amazing kit that allows you to play whatever your playstyle suits you. The next unit who just has a really good kit is LR Tech Super Vegito. Now, not every amazing top 5 unit is going to have an amazing, well-designed kit, but more so, it's just a good kit altogether. Like, if you throw 100% damage reduction on a unit, that doesn't make them a really well-designed unit, it just means they're broken, right? But when you're working with this Vegito, the reason why they're so well-designed is because they allow each part to be fluid, right? You got the first 4 turns in Super Saiyan, you get 90% damage reduction in slot 2 if you're attacking. Then once you lose that, you can go into Vegeta to stack defense, and you can put him in slot 1 for that guard and 70% damage reduction. Stack your defense, and then once you have enough defense, you can go back into Goku and continue stacking to allow you to customize your playstyle for this unit. But again, once you are very tanky for the first 4 turns, and then you lose that 50% damage reduction buff, you can go into Vegeta to start getting your defense back up so you can go back into Goku. But also, if you're fighting a shorter fight, you can always get Vegito out without having to go into Vegeta at all. If you have him on turn 2, you can float him and get him on turn 5, or if you got him turn 1, then you'll naturally get to turn 5 and go into Vegito. Regardless, in either way, this allows you to customize your way to play with Vegito in any way you want to. You can make him defensive, you can make him offensive, you can ensure that Vegito comes out as fast as possible to get rid of the enemy, but no matter how you do it, you can play it the way you want to, and he has the ability to be good in every scenario possible, which is why he'll age really well and why his kit is so well designed. The next well-designed unit is LR STRT. And though I do think he is a bit overrated, I can also appreciate how well his kit was designed. Again, you can play him however you want to. If you want to go full defensive, keep him slot 1 so you can build up that damage reduction, keep his defense going, allow him to be unkillable. But you can put him in slot 2 as well if you want to go for full offense. Make sure he's pulling off those ridiculous numbers so you can hit really hard, especially with those crits. Or you can go balanced. You could do a slot 1, then go slot 2, then go slot 1, then go slot 2. Whatever you want to play, he's good in every slot, as long as you make sure you're watching your boss and seeing how much damage your Tien is taking. If Tien is taking too much damage in slot 2, move him to slot 1, let him be tanky there. But the great thing is that he allows you to play however you want to, and without him being bad in really any scenario. Of course, you also have his active turn, where you can attack in slot 2, and then put him in slot 1, and then get the benefits of slot 2. At least some of them. See, some of the stuff on that wording in slot 1 and slot 2 are not necessarily, oh, you do this, you get everything. You just get bits and pieces of it, but still, you do get some of the benefits of slot 2 if you activate his active in slot 2 and then move him back into slot 1. So overall, he could be defensive, he can be offensive, he can be balanced, he has it all. And that's what's so fun about this unit, is being able to put him in any slot and getting different effects and seeing all those things without him being sacrificed of being bad because you want to play more offensive or more defensive. But again, I personally think he's a little bit overrated. I'll go over that in a future video, but overall, he's a cool unit, he's fun, and he has a really good game. The next well-designed unit is STR Cell, and I love this unit because he's a revive unit that needs to die, and they make him easy to die. So STR Cell is a unit you can't run 2 of, which is fine, because he's really good if you just run 1 of them anyways. So you kill him, and then he dies, comes back, he gets his damage reduction, he gets his stats, he becomes really good after revive, and then you have his domain, and then his active on turn 4 or when you're under 70% HP. Cell is just really well crafted and really well done, and mostly just because he's a revive unit that when he dies, he gets all the stats, and he can easily die, and he becomes a completely different unit when he comes back from his revive. So to me, it's super easy to make him a really relevant unit. You gotta kill him, he comes back, and he's good. So overall, pretty simple, nothing crazy, but I mean, he's a really good tank once you can get him going. Alright, now I'm gonna babble a bit about Int Boo. I'm talking about the Int Majin Buu from Golden Week 2024. They crafted a beauty with this unit. I love this unit since I pulled him during the Golden Week celebration, and the fact that he's still relevant today just shows you how well he was designed, how crafted he was, and how well he's aged so far. He's an absolute wall of a unit that once he just starts stacking, he's unkillable. But the great thing is now we're getting bosses that are able to do damage to him. But guess what? It doesn't even matter, because his whole purpose is to die turn 1. You want him to die, just like STR Cell. And now that he's able to get killed, and no matter what on turn 1, I mean, it still depends on the boss you're facing, but he can pretty much die in turn 1, especially in battle hard and formidable foes, and then comes back, gets his stat buff, gets his survivability ability, and then he gets his extra stats and everything, and he just becomes a monster. And then, of course, he's always stacking defense. He gets his active right when he comes back. I mean, he's a monster of a unit. I mean, they made him good in long, they made him good in short, they made him good in medium content. Again, his damage is nothing impressive, but he cannot die after his revive. And again, if you keep stacking, he's just unkillable. Again, his damage is nothing crazy. But in battle hard and formidable foes, for example, you can kill him turn 1, then he comes back, you activate his Ghost Usher ability, and he continues stacking, then he just doesn't die, and he becomes a slot 1 wall in a fight where people are dishing out 7 to 8 mil supers, and he's just eating them, because he's just that strong. He's one of my favorite units of all time for sure, and he's just growing on me. He's amazing. And this just shows you how to make a unit age really well by allowing him to complement himself in every form of content. You want to go long, let him stack. You want to go short, revive into Usher. You want to go medium, have the rush, Usher, and revive, but also the ability to stack, and then he gains survivability as well. He just has so many tools in his kit to allow him to remain relevant for a long time. The final unit I want to talk about today is Tech Janemba. I think they made him a really good unit. Again, like TN, I do think he's a bit overrated, but I still think they did a really well job of crafting this unit. He starts off with 80% damage reduction, he gets 30% from a Rainbow Orb, and then 50% just off a base, but the gimmick is every time he gets hit, he loses 5% of his damage reduction. So similar to how you're going to run Tech Broly, you want to hide him as long as possible to preserve his damage reduction. A little bit of Broly, but kind of like Topo as well, right? You want to make sure he doesn't get hit in order to preserve as much damage reduction as you can to get to the final boss. But the best part is that his transformation mechanic is, if you get hit 5 times, you can go into Super Janemba. So if you can preserve it long enough, you can avoid going to Super Janemba until really late or never. But if you do get hit a lot early on, you can just go straight into Super Janemba. And to me, that's a really good mechanic because it's a great failsafe. Oh, I got hit so many times. Now let me go into Super Janemba. Oh, I was able to avoid it for a long time. Now I can go into fat, like I can stay in the fat form, and then allow myself to tank the final boss. So to me, I think they did a really good job in crafting Tech Janemba. And I think he has a lot of areas of where he can be a good unit to tank, or he can become a dodge unit, or whatever. But let me know in the comments below of what other units you think are the best designed in the game. Do you think I hit on some, or do you think I'm just missing on these? Let me know in the comments below. And if you guys enjoyed this voice content, there's a description below. You can click the link to all of my voice content, and right below it is a playlist to all of my Dokkan Battle content if you enjoy it. And I'll see you guys in the next one.